Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy, I'm the knitter behind Knitting Matters and I am a knitter based in Wales. So I have another podcast update for you today. So if you are interested in seeing my finished items, anything that I have been working on and any acquisitions that I have made, then just keep watching. So as you can see, I am wearing my Dagmar Zipper Sweater today and I am going to parade it as a finished item again because although I showed it off in the last podcast update, it was missing a zip, which is quite a significant part of this jumper. So as you can see, I have now installed it. I used the 17 centimetre PetiteKnit zip in the shade Hazelnut. I needn't have bothered really about the colour because you can't really see it apart from this tiny bit here because I haven't stitched it down. If I hadn't shown you that, you wouldn't know it was there. But either way, I have now installed the zip and it works, it functions perfectly. So, and I'm really pleased with the way it looks. I'm really happy with this aesthetic. I did buy a couple of zips with like a gold zipper and then I bought an antique brass one, but this was my favourite by far. So I'm really pleased that I waited for this one to arrive. So I made a modification to the zip facing. So the pattern recommends that you just bind off the zip facing here and have the inside of the zip exposed on the inside of the jacket, but I chose not to do that. I chose to continue the double knit facing and I actually made a little pocket at the bottom to house the tails of the zip. So I was really pleased with that modification. It worked really well. And it is super warm. So we're at that funny in-between season where the afternoons can be quite warm, but actually the mornings and the evenings can still have got quite a chill about them. So my family are starting to suggest that we put the heating on, and I am persistently suggesting that they just put their jumpers on. So this jumper has been worn every day because it is just the one that I'm wearing at the minute, and I haven't noticed any pilling or anything like that with the yarn. It's a really soft yarn, it's a really warm yarn, and I do get just the slightest itch on my shoulders, on my neck when I wear it zipped up, and I do quite often wear it zipped up, but if it really bothers me I tend to just tuck my hair inside and then that sorts it out. So if you're sensitive, I mean it is quite a rustic wool, so if you're sensitive to itch it might not be the best. It would be perfect for the Dagmar sweater, the one that doesn't have, you know, the collar in the neck, but yeah, I don't mind it, but just, you know, so you know. So it has this all over cable design, this beautiful honeycomb and these lovely open cables here, which I think complement these very tight 1x1 cables next to it. These lovely big sort of loopy cables, and they are sandwiched in between this honeycomb, a strip of honeycomb cabling, which of course is the main feature on the front of this sweater. So yeah, I think I said the yarn I used. I think if I didn't, it was the Blueface Leicester fleece, Aran weight by the West Yorkshire Spinners, and I used the colour 002, which was light brown. I absolutely love this sweater, and I have all good intentions of making one for my husband. Maybe not straight away, I probably won't get to it till the new year, but yeah, I think he will really appreciate one of these. It is super warm, it's super practical, and I'm already completely in love with it. So yeah, that is my first finished item for this week. My second finished item for this podcast episode is my Louvre Sweater by PetiteKnit. So I think I'm pretty sure I showed this one off the last podcast episode and it was missing sleeves. So I believe I had finished the body and I had just to pick up the sleeves and finish those off. And as you can see, they are both now done. So this one is completely complete. This is a great pattern. This is the second time I have knit it. So the recommended yarn for this one is PetiteKnit by Sandnes Garn, which is a very thick double knit weight yarn. I chose not to use the PetiteKnit. I wanted to use this yarn because I saw it on another podcast episode. Now, I have spent hours trawling through trying to find the podcaster so I can credit her. I'm really sorry, I cannot find it, but if anyone does know who it is, please do let me know, because I would love to credit them. But this is made out of the Knit Picks palette yarn, which is a fingering weight, so I held it double. And the colour is Heathered Iris or Iris Heather. Which is this really beautiful lilac or mauve colour, and as you can see, the yarn is speckled and fleckled with all sorts of pinks and blues and a little bit of yellow in there as well. I really love the 2-dimension of the colour, and it is really soft again. And the same as the West Yorkshire Spinners, I get the slightest bit of sensitivity just on the edges of my neck. But the front doesn't bother me at all, the back doesn't bother me at all. So this sweater is knit top down, so you start here with an Italian cast-on at this top collar. You knit the ribbing and then you do some German short row shaping. I'm going to have to go back and sort out, for some reason these two aren't sitting as nice and neat and flush, and they aren't quite as invisible as the other turns that I did for the German short row, so I'm going to have to go to the back of the work and just pull those a bit tighter and stitch them in place, because that is bothering me. And I don't know why it's bothering me, because it's so minor, but it is bothering me. So you do some German short row shaping and then some raglan increases before splitting, taking the shoulders, splitting the sleeves and knitting it in the round. So it is such a mindless, easy, can sit and concentrate on a movie kind of thing to knit. So I really like this pattern. I do like the simple kind of look. I'm not very fancy when it comes to my clothes. So yeah, I can see myself making at least one more, as you'll see later. But I can see myself making a few more of these because I love the neck coverage I get. I love the softness of it. Yeah, I can see this is going to be a real wardrobe staple for me. So my second finished item for this episode is my Louvre sweater by PetiteKnit. My third and final finished item for this week is a Oslo hat mohair edition, again by PetiteKnit. So this one I have made using the Knit Picks Symphony yarn, the solid colour in magenta, and I have held it together with the Heel Holt Kid Silk mohair. So let's get a look. You can see. So I really love the way that the colours go together. They were almost a perfect match. So I bought these from the store Ethel and M, which is in Lancaster, which I visited when I went to go and see my brother and my sister-in-law. Yeah, and I just really wanted a pink hat, a bright pink hat for this winter. And I almost picked up, no, I did pick it up, but then I put it back down again, like a highlighter pink, you know, I don't know how you would, like a fluorescent, that was it, like a fluorescent pink. But I did put it back because I thought it maybe didn't go too well with my skin tone. I've not had colour analysis or anything like that done. I just thought that this one looked a bit better. So anyway, I get the park and ride to the hospital that I work at. So I have like 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening where I just can sit on the bus and knit. So yeah, so I made this one while I was on the bus or waiting for the bus, or yeah. So anyway, it's a beautiful pattern, and again, I'm definitely going to be making more of these, as you'll see later on in the video. But that is my third finished item. I really love the height of the crown on this one, so I don't like it when my hats are like flush to my head, unless there's a big old bubble on the top. So yeah, I really like having that little bit of poofiness just here. I feel like it's just right. Yeah, I love having this band here. So when you knit it, you knit, let me take it off to show you that. So as you knit the length of the cuff is, the cuff? Yeah. So when you knit it, you knit double the length of the cuff, and as you can see here, you knit the stitches with the cast on edge, and so you fold it double. I'm not explaining that very well. Let me try again. So when you knit this one, you knit just a tube twice the length of this one, and then you knit together with the cast on edge to form this little ridge here. You knit a bit further, and then you turn it inside out to continue knitting the rest of the hat, and it gives you this really practical and really lovely turning point for the hat. And then it has like decreases obviously at the top. So when you fold the brim of the hat up, it just sits really nicely on this folding point. So I think that is a really fantastic little detail, and part of the reason that I love this hat so much. But also it means that there's then 3 layers of fabric that cover your ears. So I really like that. Yeah, so that is my third and final finished item for today, and that is the Oslo Hat Mohair edition by PetiteKnit again. Okay, so moving on to my works in progress. I want to talk about the Oslo hats. So this year I am committed to making lots of Oslo hats for people for Christmas, and this all started because my daughter commissioned me to make one for her school teacher. So she absolutely adores her teacher. She calls the two of them Honey and Miss Honey and Matilda. And if you know the Roald Dahl book Matilda, you'll understand the reference, but she is very much like Miss Honey. My daughter absolutely adores her. She even said this weekend, she said, "Mummy, I don't like the weekends because I don't get to go to school." So I do think her teacher deserves something a little bit special. And also I wanted to knit some hats for some friends of ours and their daughters. So whenever we go away together, my son always wears his Oslo hat. My daughter's not very good. She kind of pulls it off all the time and she finds it quite bothersome, but he's very good at wearing his. And the girls that we go away with, they kept stealing his hat. So I did think I would make them some this year. So I think I've committed to making a total of about, well, if I include the teacher assistants and everyone, it's going to be about 9 Oslo hats, which I think is possible because I can knit them quite quickly. They are, I don't find them difficult to make technique wise. It's just the time to do it, and they're the perfect project to take on the bus. So this one I think took me about 10 days to make, just fitting it in as and when. So I think if I apply myself, it's possible. So anyway, the first one that I was making was for my darling friend, and this is how far I've got. So hers is in this bright pink, which I do think, actually now I'm seeing it, it is a bit lovely, isn't it? What do you think? Is it my colour? Oh, anyway, let's stop coveting because then I'll just have more hats to knit. So anyway, I've got my beautiful magenta one and that's all I need. So I have got this far, but I have run out of the soft silk mohair, and I don't know why I only ordered 1 ball of each. I think I'm going to have enough of the merino. So sorry, this is the Knitting for Olive merino and soft silk mohair in the colour something daisies. Pink daisies? I think it's pink daisies. And this is how far I've got. So I'm about to run out of the soft silk mohair, so I do need to join another ball of yarn in. I think I've got enough of the merino to actually finish the hat, but either way, I have ordered more yarn. I did think, shall I maybe just rip back and make the hat slightly shorter and save a bit more yarn, and then start my decreases a bit early? But I decided not to do that because I think any yarn that is left over, I will probably make into a pair of mittens. So I'm going to just order some, well, I have ordered some more, and I'm waiting for that to arrive now. So I've got most of the way through. Obviously you can see I've done the headband, I've done the turn, I've knit the required length in the pattern, and I have just started the decreases. So you can see I've got a few here. So yeah, that's my progress on the second Oslo hat that I made. So these colours here in the middle are all the ones that I have got for the adults that I'm knitting the Oslo hats for. So my daughter has been asking everyone what their favourite colour is. So her teacher says her favourite colour is purple. So she is getting this one, which is the Dusty Artichoke. The teaching assistant her favourite colour is pink. We've got some jeans blue here. I have got Rust and Dusty Honey, I think this one is called, and they're all the Knitting for Olive. This is all my other merino, so I'm just storing it in with that for now. But these are all the hats that I've got to make. So, yeah, so I do need to get a move on, really. So those are the adult hats, but for the children, I'm actually using something different. For the children's hats, I'm using Drops Baby Merino, partly because they're going to grow out of it really quickly and partly because this is much easier to wash and take care of. It will still felt if you put it in the washing machine, but it's just, oh no, sorry, it is super wash treated. So this is just slightly easier to take care of because it's super wash treated. So for the children, I'm using a super wash merino, and for the adults, I'm using a hand wash only. And I will give it with knitting instructions. So with that, I'm holding it double and, oh gosh, I've lost a couple of stitches. Put them back on there. So this is where I have got, so this one is for the youngest girl in the family that I'm knitting for. So she is, how old is she? 3 or 4. So this is the junior size Oslo hat, and I have knit the brim and knit knit it to the bottom edge, so knit those two together, and I'm just knitting the turning point now. So that's where I've got with that one. It's quite a thick fabric. I'm holding the pattern, so the Oslo hat pattern is slightly different to the Oslo hat mohair edition, and it does say that you can hold 2 strands of the recommended yarn is Sunday by Sandnes Garn. So it actually recommends holding 2 strands together, and this is a very similar weight yarn. It's a fingering weight, and you get a very similar meterage per 50 gram ball. So I don't have any Sunday here to actually compare it to, but I would imagine that it is the similar sort of weight. But it has made quite a thick fabric, so I'm not sure whether I might go up a needle size with the next one. Now I haven't gauge swatched. I tend not to gauge swatch for things like hats, but it is very soft, and I actually really like the sheen that this is giving on there. So I think that will be perfect for the girls. Yeah, so the youngest has chosen this colour. The middle daughter has chosen ice blue, which is as you would expect it to be. It's like a pale blue. And the eldest daughter has chosen Bordeaux, which is like a red wine colour. And then their mum chose cerise. So I've got all the yarn for the family hats, but I don't have all of the yarn yet for the teachers' hats. So I am just in, it's just like an Oslo hat marathon. So I'll try and keep you up to date with how it's going, but that's where we're at with the Oslo hats. The next project that I have on my needles is another Louvre sweater. So in my autumn knitting plans, I mentioned that I wanted to use this Croft yarn, which is by the West Yorkshire Spinners. It's in the colour Clouster, and it is the Aran weight. I had 8 hanks of this. So I used a gift card that my colleagues gave me when I left my previous role. So I used the gift card to buy as much as I could from John Lewis, the John Lewis website, and then whatever else I needed. So I think I got 4 or 5 hanks of this from John Lewis, and then I got the rest from my local yarn store. And incredibly, the dye lots were the same. So I don't know quite what happened there, but I'm not complaining. So either way, that was on my projects of things, or wish list for things to do this autumn, and I have cast it on. So this is how far I've got. I have obviously done the cast-on, the Italian cast-on. I have finished the ribbing, and just this morning I finished the German short rows. So as you can see, the back is much longer than the front. There's a bit of shaping there, just which it is an attention to detail that I really enjoy, having the neck slightly higher at the back than the front. So I have this needle's probably a bit too small now for the amount of stitches I've got on there, but it is what it is. So yeah, I have my raglans marked out with my stitch markers, and I'm just in my happy little heaven, just increasing as I go around. So this is a really easy, again, TV movie watching project. So I chose to use the Aran weight by the Croft yarn. I do have the double knit weight, but looking at I find the Peer Gynt by Sandnes Garn to be a really thick double knit weight, and the yardage for the Aran weight is much closer than it is for the double knit weight. Does that make sense? So the double knit in the West Yorkshire Spinners is much thinner than the Aran weight, obviously, but actually when you look at the Peer Gynt is closer to the Aran weight than it is to the double knit weight. So if I make the double knit weight, or if I use double knit weight yarn, my sweater I think will be quite small unless I then adjust with needle size. So anyway, I did my gauge swatch, and actually this one is pretty perfect. So I'm a slightly tight knitter anyway, so with a slightly thicker yarn, this is working, this is working really well. So I haven't got very much to show because that is all I've got, but I can show you what it will look like because I'm wearing one. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to get fed up of doing this design soon, but I'm not fed up of it yet. And I really enjoy the way that the colours are coming through. You can't see it particularly well in this light. It's looking a bit orangey because the sun is just setting, but it's got like these lavender flecks through it, which I really like. We're almost there. So I have one more whip, and I haven't worked on this one very much. I don't really, well, I do know why. It's because I have to concentrate on it, and I haven't had very much time to just sit down and have like focused concentration. And that is my Terracotta Sweater by Knit. So this is all I've got, which again is more than last time I showed it to you. So I have cast on, I've done all of the shaping for the neck and the shoulders. I have done the first band of texture, so it has this broken moss stitch, and I think I'm on my second or third row now of colour work. But yeah, so it's really exciting to see the first band, and that's what I'm planning on doing today, just to finish, get a bit more colour work, because once I can start to see the pattern, then I usually get really excited and I want to just keep going. I do look at it and think it looks like it's going to be really, really big, but it is a drop shoulder design, and I have to keep reminding myself that actually it's going to look really long because it's going to drop down my shoulders. But yeah, I'm really excited for how this is looking. I'm really enjoying Lena Holm Samso. I believe that's how you say her name. I'm really enjoying her patterns, and she's just released another one which I think is absolutely stunning. It's got all roses across it. I'll insert a picture so you can see, and I'm actually browsing yarn choices to see which one, like what colours, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to knit that one in the spring. And I don't know what colours to go for. I think I'm going to go for a similar kind of sort of cream, not white, but like an off-white or a cream, or maybe an oatmeal colour. And I'm really tempted with like a burgundy or maybe a navy blue, but yeah, I think it's going to be like a burgundy or a deep red or something like that. But either way, I'm going to finish this one first before I start dreaming about my next one. It's super soft. I really love the way it feels. It's annoying that it keeps curling because you can't, well, there's not much to show you anyway, but there's not a lot to see at the minute. But so for this one, I am using the John Arbon Merino, and I'm holding it with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair, and I'm using the colours cream and I think it's dark dusty mousse or dark dusty mousse by Knitting for Olive. So and together I hit gauge with them and they are super soft. So yeah, not a lot to show with that one, but that is my Terracotta Sweater by PetiteKnit. So I have had one acquisition since the last time we met, and that is the 52 weeks of socks. Now I haven't really got time to cast on any socks at the minute because I have a bazillion Oslo hats to knit, but I'm really enjoying the look of some of the patterns in here, especially the cabled. Just some of these socks have got such beautiful textures. Now, I wouldn't necessarily, look at that though, look at that. I wouldn't say I am a like hardcore sock knitter, but I have knit myself socks before. So I've knit myself 2 pairs of socks before, and I've knit my husband hundreds of pairs. I tend to make him like thick, chunky, double knit weight socks that he can wear with his wellies. But I have made myself 2 pairs and I have really enjoyed both of them. But they are getting a little bit old now. I think they're about 9 years ago that I made. It was before I had my children and my son's 10.5. So there you go. It's probably even longer than that. It's probably closer to 12 or 14 years. So I really would like, I've got some really beautiful sock yarns that I would like to start using. And yeah, so I thought I would pick up the 52 weeks of socks and get some inspiration. And I will say this is a really good book, really inspiring, and I can't wait to cast on some of them, but I'm gonna have to resist for a little bit because I have lots of other things to do. But if I have time, I would also really like to make these slippers, the Elvie, are they? The elf slippers. They've got a couple of different designs of this like really thick, almost like, well, slippers. So I do need some new slippers, so potentially I would be looking to make myself those, but again, I do really need to finish my Oslo hat first. And the only other thing is that I am absolutely itching to cast on a Moby sweater. Now I am aware that I already have 2 adult size sweaters on the needles, but I just really want to cast it on, and I don't think I can hold off any longer. I think I've been really good recently. I was monogamously knitting on my Dagmar until that one was finished, and then I monogamously knitted on this one until it was finished, and then I cast on the other Louvre and my Terracotta Sweater at roughly the same time, but I just haven't had much knitting time in the last couple of weeks, other than, you know, the little projects that I can do on the go. So I've done my gauge swatch. I've shown you this one already. This is with Double Sunday and by San Nasgan and Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. So these are not the colours that I'm going to be using, but this is what my gauge swatch looks like, and I did hit gauge with the correct needle size. So I have the yarn, I have the pattern, I've done my gauge swatch, so I just really want to cast it on. So don't be surprised if you see that one in my next update. I can't decide whether to cast this one on this afternoon or to do a few more rows of my Terracotta Sweater. I think I'm going to do a few more rows of my Terracotta Sweater because the house is quiet, I don't have anyone to distract me, and I will be able to concentrate. And I think once I get into the swing of it, the motivation, I won't be able to put that down, because that's what happened with my porcelain sweater. The same thing happened. It was really weird. Like, it took me a little minute to get into it, but then when I did get into it, I couldn't put it down. So either way, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I always love hearing from you. I always want, like, what's on your needles? I want to know what you guys are making. Are you gift knitting this year? Do you have, is there anything that's particularly inspiring you? Or yeah, do share. I'd love to see. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.